Good day, everyone. Trust you're doing well today. So recently, I came across a post on Naira. The original poster was actually seeking some sort of financial guidance. So I thought to share my honest opinion about it. So here we go. But before we start, though, this video is not a financial advice. All right. So this content is for educational purpose only and only. So every opinion expressed in this video is solely mine. If you need some sort of financial advice, contact a financial advisor for professional guidance. All right. Thank you. So here is the post. Today makes me 41 years old. I have been jobless since I finished school. I have never worked in my life. The only work I did was teaching in private school for years with peanuts. I decided to resign and sold some property I got from family. I am just tired and I need direction to manage this money before I waste everything. Please make una advise me. All right, so this is the post the person put out on Naira. My take on this is very very simple. Your 41 does not mean it's the end of the road. 41 does not mean you're not gonna make it in life. All right, it's just age. The most important thing is at least you now have um, a good chunk of money to start afresh again. So I'll treat this like as if I was in your shoes and it's me. I'll give an example of people that made it later in life, from even the 40 age range and above. And you'll be shocked to know that even Aliko Dangote didn't actually turn a billionaire. In fact, though it was actually around the age of 43 or mid 40s when he actually started his cement manufacturing, and back in 2003. And that cement manufacturing actually was the big break that made him a billionaire. So, but before then, it was actually, a regular businessman. It was actually a regular businessman. So, around that 2003, in his mid 40s was when he actually started, was when he actually delved into um, cement manufacturing before, becoming a billionaire. So another person again is Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson wasn't actually a known face or a celebrity until he was 45 years old. So that's another person who actually made it, later in life. So another person again is the founder of KFC, Colonel Sanders. So he actually achieved success with KFC at the age of 65. So you see, um, age does not mean you being, in your 40s does not mean it's too late to make it. Actually, that should be a push to actually make you commit more to, achieving success, doubling down, and see results. So let's delve into how I'm going to actually spend that 5 million to kickstart my life afresh, to start all over again in life. 5 million is actually a large sum of money in Nigeria, even though um, due to inflation, it wouldn't be considered big money for some people, but literally speaking, 5 million is a big money. So how I'm gonna go about it is very simple. I'll split that 5 million into different budgets, right? I'll split the 5 million into different budgets. Budget one, I'll set aside 30%. 30% of that 5 million is actually 1.5 million. So I'll set aside that 30% strictly for investment. Right now, if you ask me what investment, money mutual funds. right? So money mutual funds that invest in treasury bills, fixed deposits, and commercial paper. And Stanbic IBTC is your best bet. Stanbic IBTC, ARM, Meristem, yeah, money mutual fund. Yeah, the reason is um when you invest in mutual funds and not touch the interest over time, the interest compounds. It does compound. So that'll be like your money earning more money for you. So that's 30% set aside. Then secondly, I will set aside 20% from that 5 million. 20% from that 5 million is actually 1 million naira. Now, this 1 million naira will be set aside for everyday survival. You think of it as contingency plans, things to, carry you on, everyday living things, you need to transport, you need food, you need data for internet. So all those little expenses, and there's some other essentials you need to get as well, to just let you get by with life. So that's necessary, setting aside 20%. So thirdly, I'll set aside another 30%. Keep in mind, 30% is actually 1.5 million, right? From that 5 million. So this 30% set aside, it will be for business, right? So but for now, I won't say the business I'll go into. That'll be for later. Yeah. Just keep watching the video, right? I'll say that at the end of this video, probably towards the end of this video. So yeah, I'll set aside 30%. That is 1.5 million naira for business. So fourthly, I'll set aside another 10%. 10% is actually 500k. 10% from that 5 million, 500k. Now the reason why I'll set this aside is simple. I'm 41 years old, right? And I've not actually had a good job all my life other than teaching, which I was being paid peanuts, right? So that 500k will be set aside for me to learn new skills. There are a lot of skills I could learn, but there's some, skills that are actually in high demand in Nigeria at this point. Skills like solar installation, CCTV installations, wiring, tiling, POP installations, even painting. Yeah, so those skills I have to like go learn them. I have to like learn some of them because the reason why I have to learn them is because what if the business I start fails? This 5 million is only my own money, so I just have to learn skill because if the business I eventually open fails, I need to like start relying on my skill to like earn a living. So that's why it's really crucial to learn a skill. All plans has to be strategic because this is my only 5 million and I'm trying to restart my life. So all plans has to be, strategic. The next one is, which happens to be the fifth one. I'll set aside another, 10%, and 10% is actually another 500k. Why? Because just think of it like miscellaneous. Sometimes family can suddenly call me for um emergency. Africa now, black tax and all. So they could actually come in for emergency. So I'll just set aside, 500k in case that happens. Right. So, that'll be set aside. Now let's get right into the business I actually want to go into. So 1.5 million naira set aside for business. And I had previously, thought before in schools. That's the only experience I have insofar as business. Or should I say job? Not actually business. Job is concerned. Okay, over time, or should I say over the years, I would have acquired some skills. Being a teacher. Skills like patience, communication skill, yeah, and discipline. Yeah, over the years, being a teacher, you should be able to like acquire those three skills. And at this point, you should be a master of those three skills. Mastery, yeah, mastery. Anyway, so you having those three skills that should propel you into doing a business that has to do with dealing with other people. Basically, business that requires constant interaction, so to speak. It doesn't have to be so polished. The main important thing is you just want to start a business that will guarantee you, regular, or should I say, daily income. Number one type of business is, you know, you kind of get a shop, right, for POS, photocopy, photocopying zone. Like, yeah, people can come to do type settings and photocopy. Then you also render POS services. You could also set aside a place, probably have a solar, I mean, on your roof, and help people charge their phone as well, still in that same shop. Then you could also, people help people rather register for JAMB, WAEC when it's exam season. Yeah, so doing that business will guarantee you, you know, almost daily income. That's one business. Now, the second kind of business that I would likely go into will be food business. Everybody has to eat. Even you have to eat. So I'll go into food wholesale business. You know, like the type that all these Igbo guys, do, whereby they sell rice, beans, and the likes. But mine is just gonna be, something like rice, beans, gari, palm oil, plantain, things you can easily, get like that and resell. Wholesale, not retail, wholesale. So because like I said earlier, food sells because everybody definitely eats. So food business, it's evergreen business. So yeah, that will be my second choice of business. And keep in mind, we're actually utilizing the 1.5 million set aside for business. So these are my two options for business: the photocopying POS type business and the food stuff reselling type of business. Those are the two type of business I would recommend. Now, this is where it get interesting. When when I start that business, I'll be very careful, not to actually um, mess around with, you know, the income from that business. Keep in mind that's why I'd already set aside funds for, at least 1 million naira to carry me and for everyday living and getting essentials, and another 500K for African, sorry, black tax and miscellaneous. So I'll be very, very careful not to like, dip my hand into income from that business, because, you know, doing so might actually, not make the business progress. A lot of factors could actually come into play insofar as business survival is concerned. But you messing with the income from your business is one great factor. People, new business owner encounter. So whatever comes from that business, plow it back into the business, or you put it into your mutual funds investment, more compound interest. And sometimes business could be dull, but you take from your interest, yeah, from the mutual fund and reinvest in your business. So you can see doing so, you're already, setting yourself up for, progress and success. And keep in mind, this is just with the whole 5 million. Oh. And you need to like put your habits in check. Do you have good money, habits? Like, do you save? Do you actually are you actually sticking to the budget? I have created for myself. I actually sticking to the budget. Hope you're not spending, impulsively. That's another thing to like, put into consideration as well. Right. So, I mean, doing all this that I've just listed should give me a head start in life and another hope in life. So this is how I'll spend 5 million if I was that guy. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. And if you've gained value from this video, just you know like the video and subscribe so you see my next update. Thank you and bye bye.